Guys, welcome to another Amazon Forum Friday. So you guys know how this normally goes, right? I go into Amazon seller Facebook groups. I pick different posts in 5 different categories, often commentary on each one. A little bit of drama, buy or pass, some tactical advice. 5 different categories, right? So we're gonna do something a little different this week. And I've did this, I think, once or twice before. If you don't know, when I go and record the footage for Amazon Forum Fridays, about 75% of it ends up being tactical. So I ended up with this huge backlog of just like specific tactical advice, and it's just been piling up. So we gotta do a big purge. So what we're gonna do this week is an all tactical episode. I don't think you guys will mind. I think that's probably your favorite part of these videos anyway. It's still gonna be in 5 parts, but it's gonna be all tactics. Let's get into it. So a little bit of a lesson here. So Frugal Ladybug says, I have 18 hardbacks from the 1930s. Judy Bolton books by Margaret Sutton in great shape. Any idea what they could be worth? So this brings up kind of an interesting point. So I'm not going to say whether these are worth money or not, but the point I'd like to make is that antiquarian book selling and, just selling books on Amazon are 2 totally different businesses. And I think a lot of people conflate the two, or they think even that there's some overlap. I would consider them to be literally separate, completely separate businesses. So it's not to say that you can't find antiquarian books. By antiquarian, I just mean books that, one, for sure don't have barcodes, but it's not even just about that. Books that would only appeal to a collector. So in other words, you look at a book on Amazon, it's like the rank's like 10 million. There might be demand there, but it's not demand amongst the Amazon buyer. It's the demand amongst buyers who specialize in rare books. It's a totally different market. Like, those people are not going on Amazon. They don't trust Amazon sellers. That's just not where they go, right? They go to books. They go to books. They go to special dealers. They've got broker. There's just so many places they go, but it's not Amazon. And I don't even know if they go to Abe anymore, to be honest. I'm just not super familiar with that world. But if they do go somewhere, it's the biggest site they might go is Abe, but they're definitely not going on. I can't say they wouldn't go on eBay, but it's probably going to bring up the same kind of trust issues as Amazon. But anyway, the point is, these are really separate businesses. So I'm looking at this post here, and this person has a bunch of books from the 30s. And it's not that they're not worth money. They very well could be worth money. It's just that the criteria that we'd use to determine whether they have value is just really, it's personally, I've been selling books for 15 years. It's like completely outside my skill set. I mean, all I would know to do with a book set like this is look it up on Abe Books and try to piece together the evidence. Keeping in mind that Abe Books really, it's when your book's selling once every, or a set or whatever, selling once every year or 2 years or something. You have no idea what the actual value is, right? Because what's on Abe at that moment, it's not going to reflect what it actually might sell for. So there's just so many question marks. I don't know what I would do with a set like this. If I had the set, I would pull it up on Abe Books. And again, I'm so ignorant about antiquarian book selling that I don't even know if Abe Books is still like the place to go. It was at one point, I know that, but I would go to Abe Books. This is assuming that the Amazon is giving me, first stop Amazon, of course. And if I determine, okay, Amazon is showing this book is like never sold, or maybe there's not even a product page for it, or whatever, just the rank's really bad, I would go, okay, so Amazon's out, let me go to Abe. This is just what I would do, right? And not really knowing the business. I go to Abe, I try to piece together what's the lowest price, and I would just kind of chances are these are not, most books that are just older does not equal value. So chances are it has no value at all. But I would start on Abe and try to piece together the evidence. Really, I would just take it to an antiquarian bookseller if you live in a town big enough to have one. But that's only if what I saw on Abe gave me hope. Usually there's no hope. So I guess the point of all this is that, and this is not news if you're if older seller, but if you're a newer seller, antiquarian book selling and selling on Amazon, like, very different skill sets, very different things. You can know very much about one and know nothing about the other. This person says, and I'm salivating you guys reading this, they said, wish this book was in better shape, but this is today's best find. And they are holding up a book with the title Voodoo and Magic Practices. There is almost no subject that gets me more excited than the paranormal or the occult or what would be considered sort of fringe religions. I'm just kind of bundling all that stuff together. It's money a massive amount of the time, right? There's very few categories that are worth money. We'll say like over half the time, but this is going to be close. A book like this, I mean, if I didn't have my scanner on me or something, I'd grab this in a second. I wouldn't even hesitate. A book called Voodoo and Magic Practices, like this category is so profitable, it's insane. So anytime you see anything related to like really out there religions, like out there, no religion is out there to the people that practice that religion, but out there relative to what's considered mainstream in this country. Anything that's like really, really far on the fringe, anything that's just really weird and like, again, like not just a book like, haunted sightings in Jacksonville, Florida, but like stuff that's like really niche, like, how to purchase equipment to, do a paranormal investigation inside subterranean environments. I just made that up. Like stuff like that, right? It's worth money a huge percentage of the time. So look for books like this. Real basic tip here. A person says, does anyone else have trouble with their scanner sucking down their phone battery fast and causing their phone to overheat? So if you're having battery issues, no matter what the cause is, really simple thing. When you get in your car and you're moving between sources or whenever you get to a power source, set your phone to airplane mode while you're charging it. It will charge a lot faster. Having a dead phone, dead battery can be one of the most costly things that can happen when you're outsourcing. If your phone's not working, time literally is money when you're outsourcing. So being able to charge your phone an extra like 25% faster can make a big difference. So yeah, set your phone in airplane mode, then charge it. Yeah, here's an interesting one. This person said, I've been doing FBA a month and I had this interesting find today. I hadn't considered fulfilled by merchant for this book. Would you sell fulfilled by Amazon or fulfilled by merchant, and why? And so we have an interesting, so the subject matter is a textbook, and here is the scanning app data. The lowest merchant fulfilled prices are $545 up to $790. The lowest FBA is $949. So here's what I do. Now, obviously, there's nothing like innovative about this. I'm a big proponent of pricing as high as you can within what's realm of like what's realistic when you consider your competitors as an FBA seller. Okay, nothing exotic there. I'm not in favor of like very conservative pricing where you've got to like, just get the quick sale. Right? That's never been me. So I think we all know that if you watched any of my stuff. So with that said, you might think I'm looking at this going, oh, the lowest FBA price is $950. Go ahead and match that. That's actually not how I operate. And so here's an exception to the price aggressively, price bold, price high, as high as you can guideline that I generally follow. This is an exception. If a book is selling for an outrageous amount, I want to take my money and run. If a book is selling for an outrageous, it's just going to be relative. It depends on my mood. It depends on how much money I made that day. It depends on lots of things. So I'm not going to give you a number. But a book is selling for an exceptionally high amount, probably, three figures to some three-figure amount. I'm going to take that money and run. What I'm not going to do is get really aggressive and go, well, the merchant fulfilled price is $550, but I'm going to price it at $950. I'm going to match that lowest FBA price. Sales like that happen all the time. That can absolutely work. In other words, you can get $400 more for this book as an FBA seller. There's tons of stores. I don't know if I've ever quite gotten that much of a premium, but it does happen. And I'm not going to say it can't. I'm going to say that I would not personally take that chance. I'm going to take my money and run in the situation. It's kind of like a hedging your bets type of thing. That's kind of my motivation. So it's like, yeah, I've got lots of books where I'm priced really, really high and it's not quite necessarily, to a level that's maybe not terribly realistic. They're going to sell anytime soon. Then I've got books like this where I'm going to price conservatively and I'll get a quick sale. And that's going to more than offset all the other books where I'm just holding back, biding my time, waiting for a sale at a much higher FBA price. So it's a hedging move, in my opinion. So with a book like this, I'm going to take the money and run. It's $500. I'm not going to get greedier than that. So in this instance, I probably would. It goes against everything I've taught for years, or seemingly it does. I just never talked about this exception before, but it might seem like a contradiction, but I'm probably going to match the lowest price in this situation. Because what's realistic? What's like, quote, realistic? You price it at $5.99, $50 above. Okay, it's extra $50. $50 is $50, but how nice would it be to just get that quick $550 and just move on to the next thing and roll that into more books. There's an opportunity cost here you have to consider, which is you got your money tied up. You can unlock $550 fast, or maybe get $950. Probably not, because the FBA price will probably tank, but like maybe in some undetermined point in the future. If the payout, if I got a quick sale, was only $30, I'm not going to take the money and run. I'm going to price aggressively. But if the payout's $550, or whatever it is after fees, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that and run. So the point of all this is, when the value of a book is really, really high, I don't care if I'm selling FBA, merch fulfilled, I'm going to take the money and run. I'm always going to list at FBA. All my inventory is FBA, but I'm probably going to match the lowest merch fulfilled price, break my own rules, unlock that huge amount of money, and then roll that into more books. So here's an interesting question. A lot of us probably wondered from time to time, is it better, I won't read the whole thing, but is it better to deal in volume or to deal in margins? In other words, is it better to deal in slow selling inventory that gives you a bigger payout per unit, or high turnover items that are fast selling, but maybe your margins are smaller, you're making less per book, or whatever the inventory is. So here are my thoughts on this. Now, generally, this is the kind of thing where I'd say, hey, listen, you can't ask for anyone else's opinion on it, because that's a very personal decision. One person's answer is not going to be right for you, and that is true, but I can actually get it down into a formula that I can impart on you. So here's how I look at it. If you're the type of person, if you live in an area, or your sourcing model is such, or your financial situation is such that you have more money than you have books to buy them with, or inventory to buy it with, then focus on margins. Focus on inventory that will get you more per unit. In other words, and usually that's often going to be slower selling inventory, okay? If you're somebody that runs out of money before you run out of inventory to buy, focus on turnover. Focus on buying as much as you can that's going to turn over as quickly as you can, so you can turn that $1 into $3 and keep repeating the process. Because money's your issue, right? That's your bottleneck. If money is not your bottleneck and just merely access to inventory is your bottleneck, in that case, you want to focus on higher margin items. Again, often slow selling, whatever's going to get you the most amount of money. And the reason should be obvious, because if you are somebody that has more money than you have inventory, then you have the luxury of being able to sit on inventory for a long amount of time. Whereas the person that runs out of money before they run out of inventory, they don't have that luxury. They need to be constantly turning their inventory into cash so they can unlock the cash from the inventory and go invest it in more inventory. That's how I look at this. All right, guys, we covered a lot of ground. You now have a 3-part mission. Are you ready? Mission number 1, subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can build a whole business off of what I give away for free. Do it right now. Number 2, get all my free stuff. Hit the link below this video. Go to fbamastery.com. Get free reports, free web classes, no strings attached. Free means free. Hit the link below this video right now. And mission number 3, take what you learned in this video and go make money with it. This is Peter Valley signing off. See you in the next video.